Hey guys, welcome to another recording here. We got our dungeon made. I don't know if you have yours made. I've made mine. Yours can be 1 level, 20 levels, 100 levels. I have no idea what you made. I'm just concerned about teaching you how to get it populated now. Um, so, the very first thing you need to understand is that the world's broken up into a couple sections. This section right here would be all the map, the permanent objects, the lighting, everything. And then you want to add spawners, dungeon chests, doors, interactable things. So that's where the seed objects come in. And then there's objects in the game that you can use to spawn things like spawners and whatnot. So what we're going to do in this video is that we're just going to simply show you the cluster config, how to get this map set up so you can load it up, or your map. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So at this point, if you haven't made your dungeon yet, make something. I don't care how big it is, how small. It could be something as small as this level 1 section here, but this is the overall. Let's see, I'll just highlight all these. This is level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 that I have designed. So yeah, go ahead and get that done if you haven't got it done yet, and you can always come back to this video. So let's take a look at the cluster config real quick. Everybody's probably edited this at some point. We've got your mod name picked out for this demonstration video series. I've made the Dungeons of Aria mod. I've got the row worlds included into this. I also have the first dungeon mod that I built. So the one thing you're going to need is a location to put your Unity scene file assets, and that's located where I have it is in my local assets here folder that I created. Now to get that information, now you can just come over here to your asset bundles, and it's all located here. I would right click the asset bundles and go to show and explore, and then go right to your asset bundles folder, and right there should be your first dungeon file right here. And then we also want to grab the first dungeon version, and every time you make a change, that's okay, it's easier to do it this way. You can go right to that same directory in your mods. Let's go to the map data. Oop, my bad, we're not doing the map data, we're doing the local assets, and just paste it right in here. I've already got the latest copy, so I don't need to. And then basically all you're going to have to do is, again, redirect. As you can see, I have right here, local assets, first dungeon. Okay, so now that I have my client bundle added into my mod, I need to create a server index, and I've went ahead and created one down here. I've got the unique address of 21 for this. Yours may be different. These numbers may look different. Don't worry about it. Just make sure this has a unique ID of somewhere between 20 and 100. So that's pretty much all you're going to need. So when you go to load up your standalone, you should be able to select your first dungeon, or whatever you wanted to call it. And then you should be able to see it on the cluster list as well, and be able to launch that like a normal map. So that's pretty much the basics of getting your map plugged in. How do you get this right here, this first dungeon? Again, if we go back to Unity and I click the map data, all I have to do is hit build. And when I hit build, as you'll see right here, it's saying, do I want to start off all the next highest, yes, fine, whatever. This is just generating all those basic files and the asset bundles right here. So after you hit that build button, and it takes a few seconds, might be longer on some computers, and then after you're done building, then the next thing you want to do is copy those directly over to that folder like we did by right clicking and going to the show of explorer. Okay, and with that right there, now you can log into your map and you can do whatever you want, right? So let's get back to the basics of spawning, right? So I'm going to go to the level 1 map here, and we'll zoom in. And right here is the very first room that we are going to enter as a player. So I don't want to keep clicking all these objects because they're going to get in the way while I'm trying to place this stuff. So one thing you can do is that you can stop yourself from even interacting with any of the scene now. Now I can click around, drag, nothing's... So that'll save you some hassle there. Alright, so with the first dungeon selected here, okay, we're going to go up to LOE Toolkit, and then we're going to go up to Dynamic Editors and Seed Object Editor. So when we click this is going to pop up right here. And down here in the hierarchy, you will see a Seed Objects, okay? And then what we want to do is that we want to create new seed object. Okay? Now this new seed object, we want to move to view, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find it manually, I guess, here, because sometimes these tools work and sometimes they don't. And right here is where I want to put it, like right in the middle. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on this by double clicking this, and we'll pull out. So right here on my dungeon tiles, they're like pretty high up. So what I want to do is change this to 25, and we'll drag it right over. And I should be able to see it, if we like zoom in here real quick, use the up and down arrows, I can drag it and bring it in. But as long as it's like, that's fairly good. I'll just leave it at 25 though. Alright, so from this point right here, what I want to do is maybe right around here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spawn a skeleton. And the question is, how would you set that up? Well, we need a object file called a simple mob spawner. So when you grab the creation template for what's supposed to be here, I'm going to go ahead and hit select. And you're going to go under the no draws on the list. Scroll down until you find the simple mob spawner. Now all these objects right here, you could place, I believe, like the spider grave mob spawner small, and it would probably spawn spiders, but we're simply looking for the simple mob spawner, which is right here. Now this will not do anything at all until we add object variables to it. Now to select which creature will spawn, you have to know the Objavar name. So let's click the little plus button here, and now we will type in lowercase spawn, uppercase T for template. Should say spawn template. And this needs to be a string. And right here, I'm going to put a skeleton. Okay. Now, let's say we wanted to have a couple skeletons spawn, maybe 2 at this spot. That's fairly easy. We just need to add another Objavar called spawn count. Set that to a number, which it already is, and we want this to be 2. Alright, so now we have made our new seed object. We have a spawner right here. So I'm going to go ahead and rename the seed to spawner level 1 room 1 2 skeletons. Alright, it's very good, and you'll see why this is important to try to name these things right here. So the very next thing you need to do is, now that we have, just to show you what's going on here, I'm going to go ahead and set this to my Dungeons of Aria mod, and you set the mod name to your mod, and click Save All Seed Objects. Now that we did that, we should be able to go to our mods, your mod name, map data, the name of your dungeon, mine's First Dungeon, And then we have seed objects. So let's take a look at that. You'll see that I have spawner, level 1, room 2, skeletons. Now when I'm looking through this, I know where the spawner is, what room it is, and what it's doing. And you'll see right here is a simple mob spawner. This is the location it's going to place in the game with the rotation and scaling. This right here is location, rotation, scale. And then let's take a look at the string variables. It gave us our spawn template and it gave us our spawn count. Now there's nothing stopping me, okay, from being in game and just copying this and pasting this, right? And then I could put a spawner in the same spot and we'll call it 2 skeleton mages, right? And so I'll just go ahead and do this right here. And then if we were to save this version, file, save all. And if we went right back to our our project here, you'll see here at the seed objects, if we highlight that, let's go ahead and load all seed objects and see what happens. Let's take a peek. Main, and you'll see that we have both of the seed objects there. So you can use this version to spawn your things in game, or if you're more comfortable editing your seed objects through a text editor, then you can do it this way as well. And both of them are compatible, so you can do work, load it into game. You can take the Unity stuff and load it back to the game. So I didn't know if most people knew that was how that worked, but yeah, it makes it easier if you understand the operations of all that. So that is really the basics on adding in spawners and monsters. So if I wanted to, now that I have those 2 skeleton mages, I can just drag it right over here and say, hey, look at that. See, you know what? I just changed this, which is fine. And I'm going to go ahead and you'll see that this is 4783. Should reload when we do this. So I'm going to go ahead and save all seed objects again. We'll see what happens here, and we'll take a look at the editor, and you'll see that these values changed, you know, and everything's good. And yeah, there's a lot of ways that you could do this, and as you can see, this is just one room, and you'd go through each room and add the spawners where you'd want them to be in your dungeon. So it takes a little bit of work and a little bit of time, but again, that's it. That's the absolute basics of adding seed objects, how they work, where the files are at, and how to get, you know, things into the game. So I think probably just to make this a little bit longer, let's go ahead and change the directional light up. I'm going to bring it up to 1 here. The intensity, I think I have it off too. So all right, so now I can see what I'm doing here. Let's take this room right here, and I want a door here, right? So the first thing I want to do is we'll be in our seed objects, and I'm gonna create a new seed object, and then I'm gonna drag that to the main, and then let's find this one real quick. Where'd it go? Because I'm really bad at this, guy, so I don't know all the tools and things like that for, geez, that one ended up like 5 miles away, didn't it? All right, so we wanted to go to this room right here, so I'll just bring it there. We'll bring it up to 25, I think that's what the height was there. Drag it back there. Looks like it's right by the doorway. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back into this guy by double clicking. Sometimes that works. Okay, sorry about that. So we want to make a door, right? I believe if we hit select and we go to environment, we should be able to find some catacomb stone door is what we're looking for. So I'm going to select that, and you will see that this door it's changed over. It's now looking like the door. It doesn't look like that little seed object and everything. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to rotate this 90 degrees to simplify things, and then we only simply have to move it into place and get it to where we want it to be at and how it looks. I think there's a little bit of yeah, so this really isn't quite in the middle, as we can see. Okay, so let's go ahead and just bump this up, get it right into place, and then that's it. So what I could do is change this, and I could call this door room 3, because this might be room number 3. Right? Let's take a peek here. Yeah, there's room 1. We can call this room 2, 3. We'll call this 4, just for organization purposes. So yeah, I'll just call this just to keep everything organized, and we're going to drag this, make sure it's in our main. Doesn't have to be there, but that's fine. And then again, all we have to do is save all seed objects, and we'll take a look at our thing, and you will notice now we have a door. Okay? So this is a working door. You'll have to do this for every doorway. Okay? And yeah, that's how you would set up doors or any other seed object. The problem is when you hit the select button and then finding stuff, right? So it takes a while to figure out what these locations are, what's in them, things like that. So yeah, it's going to take some time to learn that. So really, you just have to dig into it. Yeah, that's it. That's seed objects. That's placing a door, a spawner, getting it into your world. Now, if you loaded it up, those things are going to be right there. So, yeah, let's go ahead, and I will see you in the next video, and we're going to cover setting up teleporters. So, yeah, shouldn't be too difficult. That's for sure. So that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.